Also, follow me on this. Hood rats don't abortion your womb. We need more warriors soon. Sent from the stars, sun, and the moon. But who was shooting at him? It means he was shooting at a black guy, so we need more war. We need more warriors in the war on black guys. He didn't kill any white guys in that video, which is really my only issue.
Yeah, you're saying that this is Nas more spreading self-hatred than
I'm saying I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm saying I don't know what the fuck happened in that video. And I'm old enough that I can finally admit it. I didn't get it.
Nobody got it, man, and that's what made it so beautiful. Nas was like, put a goat in it.
Yep. Listen, I'm just gonna put a t-shirt on my head, say some numbers about guns. They'll get it.
Let me just see what happens if I put a goat in it. No? Okay, lose a goat.
But I gotta be strong. Girl, you did me wrong when I thought we were really down. There it is. Welcome, little mamas and Gentiles alike, to another phenomenal episode of My Mama Told Me.
The podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally work to prove that the Dallas shag predates the mullet, a haircut that was introduced to the white community by known government conspirator Billy Ray Cyrus to ebb the popularity of the other one because the government knew that the work-life balance struck between the business in the front, party in the back lifestyle would render the black man too strong. My name is David Gborie.
My name is Langston Kerman, and I'm stunned.
Come on.
That had like JFK shooting level twists and turns in it. You know what I mean? Like you really built a narrative. There were more than one shooter in that story, and I gotta really unpack this. So what you're saying is that the black man shag, the Dallas, how did you refer to it?
The Dallas shag.
The Dallas shag is in fact the predecessor. It is the original shag, and the white man usurped this,
much like rock and roll.
Demanded it become their own to keep us from growing stronger as a people.
Yes.
Wow.
Because the core of it is the work-life balance.
Yeah. And that type of balance would make us too powerful. We would loose ourselves from sort of the restraints of the white man and his order, as it were.
They either want you working or not.
Fuck.
You walk that line? No,
yeah. You just at home drinking a Heineken that you can afford? Nah, we don't like that.
No. They want you to kill yourself for that Cristal or drink that 8-ball and not go anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, I'm here for it. I'm bought in.
You know where that came from? Me and my girl went to one of the more ratchet Walmarts in our area, and we saw a Dallas swag and very conflicting opinions on it. My girl was like, "Did you see that?" And I was like, at the same time, I was like, "It was amazing," and she was like, "That's gross."
But okay, let's unpack amazing for you because I tend to agree with her. I think it's a huge mistake that any man should be deeply ashamed of. That said, what is the amazing for you? Are you like physically, I am attracted to that look, or you're like, no, that's amazing that he's like being himself?
I appreciate when black men, it's an all natural haircut that's inventive. And I
Oh.
think that's pretty cool. I think
You're-
would I do it? If my girl had reacted differently, yes. My issue with the shag is that it has two components that I've never been able to lock down in my life. That's why I couldn't do it.
What are the two components?
Afro and waves. I've never really successfully completed either.
Oh. You're saying that just to have the shag but not be wavy as fuck would be a disservice. It wouldn't do it. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
I can meet you somewhere near in the middle then. I do think it needs to look elevated. And I think oftentimes, at least to me, it's treated just as like an additional piece of hair. And I don't like when it just looks like, oh, you just said, hey, leave that. I'm going to keep that.
Yeah. This one, my man, he was shining. It was man, it was like a neat puff in the back. It was well done.
Like, I need you to be in a shirt with like 3 buttons open. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to fully be bought into the character, and then I can fuck with that. But I'm saying that, like, that ain't no grocery store look. Do you know what I mean? Well, like, you can't just be a guy in your sweats doing that. And that
he was clean as hell, though.
That's what I'm saying. I support that.
Yeah. I think if you're going to do that, you have to get a lineup every week.
You got to be a lineup every week. You got to really buy into the character. You got to start like, you got to start calling girls Miss Ma'am. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, you got to really,
non-prescription Cartiers.
Yeah. You got to really be a fucking dude after a while.
Which is fine.
That's cool.
She also noted there were a lot of Africans in the store. Didn't care for that either.
Same energy at the shag?
No. She's just like, but I'm just so sensitive. I realize this about myself. I'm so sensitive. She's like, there's a lot of Africans in there. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But the problem is, I did notice. I was like, "This is a lot of
Damn, man, these culture wars gotta end. This is crazy.
I'm a living contradiction. I feel like I'm mixed.
Yeah, I get you. I got you.
African and American. That might be the second one to black and white. That might be the second most difficult one.
Whoa. You think so? That like the challenges of connecting are that deep?
I think at times you very much will butt up against it. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. This is maybe a fascinating question for the African American sort of like transition of it. For the mixed kids, we always talk about how the mom is such a big determinant in whether a mixed kid turns out decent or not. That like if white mom, black dad, you get a Patrick Mahomes.
I've heard that
every time. Whereas like black mom, white dad, you get much closer to the sort of like ideal concoction of mixed behavior. You know what I mean?
You hit the sweet spot.
Yeah, you hit a sweet spot where you're like, that motherfucker, he gets it because he had a black lady yelling at him versus a white appeaser. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it's a very different vibe, I think. And so I wonder if there's any calculation inside of the African to African American that you're speaking to.
I don't know because I had an African mom and a not present father.
Oh.
So it's like, but my mom got here young. So I think even within her, it's like, because she got here when she was 18. So I think even within her, the give and take is pretty big. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. She's also struggling to make peace with this other element, and then you are struggling subsequently because it's a stacking of struggling, not a.
And then if you want to get deep into it, because of the war, I didn't really know a lot of my family like that. So I grew up, when I was younger, it was more Africans, but probably by the time I got to elementary school, it was far more Americans in my life than African people.
Damn.
So then it's like, might as well do some stand-up comedy about it. Birth of a Nation, available at patreon.com/David Gborie, is very funny.
I just picture you after a while just staring in a mirror being like, what am I?
I have like a grape soda and a glass Fanta in one hand.
Oh, God.
I smashed them both on the mirror. I should have rapped, bro. I could have had videos. That visual, that's enough for a BET award at least.
I don't know. It depends what era you rap in, because right now they would shoot you in the streets for that goofy shit. But man, we had a good run where hip hop could be like real, just like metaphorical and corny, and it was beautiful, man. We were. You
remember
sincere.
the One Mic video?
Yeah.
Come on. That's
so
as far
cool.
as pseudo deep, that's the peak of that.
It was so cool. And we would laugh so hard at it. You know what I mean? If it came out right now.
It felt important at the time. Why was he in Africa?
I was like, honestly, I think he might get an Oscar for this shit. I think they're going to open up the categories. I really think what Nas just did is transforming the film industry, and we have to all acknowledge it.
Marty Scorsese, take some notes. You want to construct a narrative?
Come on,
check out what my man Nas did in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. A song that truly I'm not sure I know what it's about.
I don't think he knew. He starts
weird yelling, and that's all it takes for me.
Dog, he did that. I have listened to him talk about the dying at 33 Jesus math shit so many times. I don't know what he's adding. I don't know what he's subtracting. No point was proven to me in any way. And when he said Jesus died at 33, that was the end of it. Like all the shit. I was like, man.
16. One of my guns was holding 17.
It's crazy.
And I don't even know if the math adds up to what he says, let alone the gun math.
Bro.
I don't know gun math.
I know the 16 plus one in the chamber. Sure.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But what the fuck did it add up to?
I don't know. It added up to a fiend dropping his Heineken.
Like, all right, man. I don't know what this is, but fuck, you're a genius.
He did love talking about Jesus. Remember he had the video? That was another Nas video that I thought was important, was the Hate Me Now.
Hate Me Now.
Because he was on the cross for, in hindsight, I don't know what reason.
You know, a Nas, and it's not even really a Nas video, but a video that featured Nas that always comes to mind for him is that Missy Elliott song. The
Hot Boys. CBR Vibes.
He was in the video because they only did the video for the remix, I think. Mm-hmm. And man, that his verse in that with all the fire fucking going off and shit. I was like, so man, big. This is cool. This brother he got it.
Oof, man. That shit was so good that we forgot about Q-Tip's verse. What is it?
I couldn't tell you what Q-Tip was talking about. Forgot he was there.
That's what we need. I think, can I say, and this is going to make us sound bad.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of scratching the same itch for people.
Say more.
I think that we scratch that like, he's really smart, but is it really smart?
Oh, yeah. You're saying we are offering them the one mic video twice a week. And
yeah.
They're like, man, this shit is deep, huh? And then you listen to 100 episodes and you're like, I think these niggas are dumb. I don't think they talking about nothing.
How many episodes do you think it takes for them to find out we're kind of dumb?
Oh, I think 4.
Come on, brother, we gotta sell tickets for this tour. It's gotta be more than 4.
Oh, you think they're going longer than 4? I think I just don't believe in myself so much that I'm like, you're gonna figure it out pretty fast that I'm a fucking idiot.
I think you get through 10 before you find out we don't read.
Whoa, 10's pretty good.
I think 10. But you are, and not in a condescending way, very articulate. Sometimes you talk and I'm like, damn, what am I supposed to do? We just did a podcast for some whites. I said about 10 words the whole time, and you had reasonings for everything. All your thoughts were grouped. I was like, yeah.
Look, but that is admittedly my trick. That's the game that I figured out when I was younger, was like, oh, if I learn to talk to people and if I learn to sound smart when I do it, motherfuckers will fold in ways that I could not control otherwise.
I've done
it. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get real fancy. I'm going to learn words that I can apply at odd times. I'm going to make motherfuckers feel like I'm on some brilliant shit, when in fact, I'm just making this up as I go, baby.
That's good, because I think this is why we work good together. My thing that people think that I'm smart about is I can take something that's very complicated and simplify it down.
Yeah.
But it's just because I don't get it. So it's like, I'm like, you're throwing all these science terms at me. I have to equate it to like drinking a bottle of liquor at a party. Like, that's the only way that I can understand the science of global warming.
You got to shave that ice down to make a picture.
We got to talk flat, because like in where you dove deep into it, I went the other way, because then I'm like, if I just speak plainly and very directly, then they'll have to think I understand what's going on.
Right. Brother, you ain't got to use all them words with me. You're talking to you're talking to a man who's already here. That's why I equate it to something local to my personal, in my personal past. How about that?
But I think it's going to work. I really think we're going to become rich off of this. Or at least not have to go back to working at the gas station.
I sure hope so. I really do think that it's a wonderful trick that we're pulling, and I pray that we continue to pull it off.
And I would love to say, by the way, listeners out there, if you have a trick to make you seem smarter than you actually are, email us. We're always looking to build.
Yeah, we need a strong team of liars and rascals. And if you can prove that your trickery is that much of an asset, there might be a position for you here at My Mama Told Me.
Truly. Because let me tell you, I was like 32 years old before I understood what people meant by fast talking. And that is a trick I wish I had. I love it. When people get to going fast, I love that.
Yeah. Listen, some of the best are motherfuckers that can just finesse a conversation quickly.
Man. That's what comedy is. That's every stand-up comedian, like, that's all the skill is.
And I think that's why when our listeners, and we're going to go to a break in a second, but that's why for our listeners who ever wonder about our cynicism as it relates to comedy, your heroes, we sometimes we make light of maybe some of the choices that our peers are making at times, and you wonder why are they like that? Are they just two haters? Well, yes, that's one thing. That's a big part of it, but the other part of it is we know that we're all fucking idiots. So when you call our friends and people we work with brilliant, and you say how they are the true philosophers in the world, no, the fuck they're not. We're idiots.
These niggas addicted to Adderall.
They're so dumb, and I like their comedy. I enjoy the art form we've chosen because we all know how stupid we are and how fundamentally insane it is that you even pay attention.
That's the best part. People, there are smart people who research things. Listen to them for your life advice or whatever. Yeah. You want to hear some goofy shit that's not quite accurate? Then come over to my
here.
Mama Told Me.
You would do better doing TEDx. Not even the TED Talks. TEDx Talks are certainly more likely researched and grounded than anything we're talking about.
Are the TEDx Talks for dumb people? Is that what it is?
I think it's like it's the less than TED, if that makes sense. It was TED opening it up to like a broader spectrum of local voices and shit, where you could still be an expert, quote unquote, but it's not the same tier as a TED Talk.
Okay, would you do a TEDx?
I hope not to. I
think comedians have done them.
I think a lot of comedians have done them, but I don't think that anybody is like blown away when you're like, yeah, I did a TEDx. I probably don't deserve in any way to be doing a TED, but certainly if I do it, I got to go TED all the way.
Okay. Olivia says TED conferences are run by TED, while TEDx events are locally organized by volunteers. Oh, okay. In that case, Denver, Colorado, I'll be doing a TEDx.
Ain't no payoff top. Okay, Denver, we are TEDxing.
We gotta take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll get into a conspiracy.
Yeah, let's talk a conspiracy.
All right, we'll be back. Here's what I say, and let's bring it back on this hilarious we just cut out a comment that I made that was hilarious.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. It's like top 10 for me right now of funny things that somebody said. You know, the scale changes every day.
Yeah, it's always changing.
It's high. It is high on the list. That was the Wilt Chamberlain of funny things. You can't deny it.
No, you got to go to the fire. You got to go through the fire. That's weird. You guys didn't hear it, but just know we're here and we're having the important conversations so that you can take these and you can go back to your Thanksgivings and your holidays, and you can be armed to talk to your bigot family members, because two known smart men have already discussed these things for you. Men that you think are genius.
Men you already know have done the work.
Yeah, that's it. That's why this works, is because we work.
Because we work. We, before the episode, got into, I think, an exciting discussion about a conspiracy theory that obviously has been circling for a few weeks now. We were prompted by some of Shannon Sharpe, your hero, I would say.
Don't do that to me.
Your king?
Don't do that to me. My hero's not a tight end.
Shannon Sharpe obviously has been acting a goddamn fool all across the internet as of late, largely connected to his sort of like constant defense and advocacy for Caitlin Clark. He like is constantly sort of raging about how mistreated and underappreciated Caitlin Clark is, and a lot of black women in particular have been very unhappy with Shannon sort of like making this constant effort to rage for a white woman, all the while ignoring the hundreds of black women also in that league.
And listen, you know the game better than me. Is she underrated?
She kind of was at a point, but not in a way that needed what he was doing. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Where like she came from college and she's nasty. Just objectively, nobody argues otherwise. She is very, very good at basketball. But she also was on a team that was shitty in the beginning and was building. And so they were losing a lot. And she wasn't yet sort of in the swing the way that she's now in the swing. So his from the beginning was like, this is a like a rookie showing like upper tier leadership potential. We should be celebrating and going crazy. Also, she's the most famous player in the league, so we should follow that. And then now her expectations have like grown, and so it kind of matches. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like Angel Reese is underrated? This is actually not what we were talking about. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't think Angel Reese is underrated now, but I think that she was also underrated in the beginning. Okay. And I think it took her literally breaking the rebound record for people to start treating her more seriously than I think they would have been treating her if it was just like a rookie in the league who was, dominating a lot of games.
Okay. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about him fucking on camera.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so Shannon's been getting in trouble, but you asked the question, and the conspiracy we sort of got into is the question of whether or not the videotape, the alleged IG live that circulated of him fucking on that lady saying, that's my Michelle, was in fact staged. Whether or not this whole thing was a big ruse.
Yes.
Where do you fall in this theory?
Well, I will say, I thought his cardio was better. Sounds like me fucking. and
oh, wait a minute. I've always thought of Shannon as a showman. I'll be honest with you. I thought that.
Oh, you think he was putting on a show for it?
I think he put on a little show for it. I think Shannon is very much a man who likes to give them ladies what he thinks they believe they need.
Spread it apart like a quarter to three, Ocho.
Because he's got to like put on these, you know what I mean? Like, I think he does that every single time, even if he's not in the mood for spreading apart. And
it wasn't. Oh yeah, me too. I think here's the thing about going live. At some point, it's because you touched that button. It would have gone live from when you touched that button. Your phone wouldn't be across the room when you were fucking and it just starts going live.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe it.
I've only gone on to other people's lives. I've never like gone live myself.
Because it's embarrassing.
Well, yeah, I'd feel a certain type of low that I don't know that I could undo. Just sitting there doing that weight thing that people be doing. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Nick? Hey,
every time I accidentally click on somebody's live and it says you can request to join this person's live, I'm like, I would rather kill myself. And it's like I'm talking about my friends.
Yeah, no. Truly, that fucking weight is so brutal for me that I could not even imagine getting to enough people that I would feel satisfied with starting to talk.
Yes, yeah.
No, it's my worst nightmare.
It seems terrible.
Just waiting for a few more people to hop in, then we gonna get started. Like, whoa, man.
That's a tough sentence. That's
Whoa.
a tough sentence.
Fuck.
That's a tough sentence. Or when they call out, looks like we got about 85 people on here.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And this is because I'm sensitive. My ego can't take that.
Yeah, no, it's not. Look, man, if that is part of the game, you do the game. This is not us telling you not to survive however you feel it best suits you to survive. But truly, the idea of personally doing that is one of my greatest nightmares.
There's a reason I don't have a lot of Instagram followers. It's because I don't know. I'm not willing to do the things.
Yeah.
And that's my problem.
Buddy, you and me both. But yes, the live is number one, not a thing that ends up across the room. And number two is not something that is easy to do. It's like actually like multiple steps before you can go live. It's not just like, oh, my butt tapped a button and suddenly we're live type shit.
Mm-hmm. I understand accidentally sending like a dirty picture because you're in the frenzy of text messaging. Who hasn't? Who amongst us, right? But to go live on accident and for the phone to not be anywhere near your hand, like it wasn't like he accidentally went live and then like set the phone down and started fucking, right?
Right.
So like I think it has to be staged.
Now, some people have been claiming that there's some sort of scam, like people are hacking into these phones and making them go live.
But how'd they know when he was fucking?
That's my issue, is that it's
oddly timed too, right?
Yeah, and it's not like, oh, well, we do this all the time with him, and so like we just so happened to this time get him fucking. It's the only time it's ever happened, and he happens to be fucking across the room on his phone. That feels a little convenient, personally.
Yeah. And I think, and all this is to what we were talking about before, is that it feels like people were coming at him, claiming for him to be whatever the term you would like to call it, queer, whatever you want to use. And it feels like this was to like sort of dispel those rumors.
Yeah.
Which is sad, I think was what we were saying.
That's the conspiracy, is that he is not pretending to be having sex with this woman for no reason. He's pretending to have sex with this woman and saying, that's my Michelle, repeatedly naming her as a sort of red herring, an illusion for what he actually is, which is a gay man who has gay sex.
And I don't think that's true either. But I do think that like this sexual pocket watching has really got us all mixed up in a way that seems to be doing a lot more harm than because like I think it's cool if Shannon Sharpe fucks any, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, he's an old buff rich guy who never committed to a family. He should be fucking everything that isn't tied down.
Yeah, no,
that's why you do that. That's why you get buff and old and don't have a family.
He has no responsibilities to anyone but himself. He should fuck whoever he wants.
He should be going crazy.
It would make perfect sense. No one should, and this is the problem. No one should question it even for a second. But he, and this is what we talked about, represents this such massive, important figure for sort of heterosexual black men that the very idea of Shannon Sharpe being queer is like a prison for us. It's truly is like destroying us.
Just because it's like, it's its own form of bondage, I think. Like, I think that's its own trap, right? Like, if that's a part of yourself that you're repressing and you can't be free to explore that, which is a pretty innate need or whatever, like, how can you ever be free?
Right.
How can you ever feel like you're yourself?
Yeah, it is the most, one of the more animal parts of us. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the most animal shit that we can't, like, even uncook slightly. Sex is so fundamental in who we are, and we can't control it and can't stop it, the urge. It will always exist in us, and the idea that you're repressing even a portion of that is so sad.
And it seems to have a lot of consequences. I think we've seen time and time again, right?
Yeah.
Like repressing that part of yourself. And that's what's sad is, like, I don't know, man. We just like, and now I feel corny because I don't do anything. I'm actually pretty vanilla. I'm not even as exciting as rappers. Which, does that hurt? Yeah. A little bit, because we're all living under this crazy masculinity thing where it's like, if you don't want to give pussy all day, every day, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah,
that's crazy. I never wanted to get laid as much as rappers do. You know, it's like, honestly, it takes more time than I'm willing to give to it.
Yeah, I definitely like it a lot, but it isn't. It isn't all consuming for me. There are so many other things that I see and am motivated by. And sometimes those things help me circle back to that sweet pussy I've been looking for. But it isn't for me as fun without also the other cool shit that I get to do. Like, pussy for the sake of pussy feels empty.
Yeah. And I think that, especially as a black, I don't know about, I feel like being in my early 20s as a black man, you felt like this is supposed to be the point of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you find that lacking, for me, it does make you feel, you're like, is there something wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I must not be healthy. I must not be whatever.
I ain't
because
a real man if I don't feel all these real man urges for constant pussy.
Yeah, and then when you get older, the guys who are still doing that, you're like, damn, I feel it's not good.
No, it looks bad after a while where you're like, oh, big man. I doubted myself early, but I'm centered now. I get that I'm okay.
And what are you proving? I don't think it's like you get to an age at some point where you're like, I don't think it's cool that you get pussy anymore.
Yeah. Hey, man, chill out. You had your fill. Move down the buffet line. There's only
for the love of God, where is your son?
There's only so many slices of honey baked ham that man is going to cut off for you, and after a while, you got to move off the buffet line.
I mean, it speaks to like, but I mean, like, people talk about it, right? Did you read We Real Cool?
Of course, yeah.
She talks about it a lot, which was the first time, Bell Hooks talks about it, which is the first time I'd ever heard anybody talk about it specifically with the black man, and like, what you're looking for is intimacy, but you go through sex and you'll always find yourself wanting, so you won't ever, because like, it is like, it's just that hypersexualization, that shit's crushing us, man. Because it doesn't give you space to explore the rest of what you could be.
Yeah, it's like the biggest fucking thing that holds men back. It truly is like number one on the call sheet. The thing that's ruining us most is our unwillingness to fucking just not be men all the time as we define them.
And how do we beat that? Or can we beat that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's possible, to be honest with you. It really, like, we truly watched a generation of young men put on dresses and sort of demand to be empowered and seen and fighting for sort of like shifts in these cultures and beliefs. And like, now niggas just wear colorful nails and call each other the F word. Like, it doesn't feel nothing.
Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you can be queer and homophobic now.
Which is good?
I guess. I don't know.
I know for me personally, because it's like we're having this conversation, but we're having this conversation because it's me and you. For every one of these conversations, there's 10 just regular conversations with some dudes where you try to bring some shit up like this, and you are struck down to like, I'm not gonna go to the barbershop and be like, me and Langston, we're talking about how you don't have to have pussy all the time. I can't get a cut that day then. I get killed.
No. I don't. If any of y'all thought we were in our barbershops being brave, you are mistaken.
I'm barely talking.
Those men say vile, vile things, and I nod politely and watch the game. And
I laugh, but not loud enough to hurt my soul. It's like when you talk to an old guy. He starts
you just give him what he want.
Yeah.
You gotta give them what they want. This man is in charge of my hair. I'm not about to correct him.
When I think about all this too, I do think it's like, I think it's also, this all speaks to this level of like aggressiveness and alertness that we're supposed to have that does not allow you to like really relax and search for yourself.
Yeah, I think
that's what I think the shame is in a lot of this.
I think the alertness exists in almost in a multitude of ways for Black men, where it's like you have to be on constant alert of like violence and racism against you. You have to be on constant alert about sort of like your impression as this aggressive, scary figure in society. And you have to be on constant alert about the feminization of the Black man, that somehow that is also a weapon against us. And that dangerous sort of trifecta of alertness then makes it so that you never have even a second to just be like, oh, this is me independent of a lot of the things that are existing around me. I can just be myself. You don't get that moment.
But and within all that, because I think the pushback on that is like, we can talk all this in theory, but like, are you safe to let that guard down? Not in all scenarios. I think like you and I are pretty lucky to have the freedom to do this type of thing, but I don't know if that is for everyone.
Yeah, I was watching a video the other day of this gay dude at a roller skating rink where he'll slide.
I saw that. He was busting it.
Yeah, he'd be busting it wide open in front of dudes who just wanted to be heterosexual men at the roller skating rink.
He got so mad.
And they get real mad and like confused and they don't know what to do. And it's funny. Like it legitimately made me laugh that this person does that. But then a bunch of the comments were sort of like, quickest way to get yourself killed. Like, nigga, you bugging. Like, hey, I get it, bit, but like, you better chill the fuck out type shit. And it's like, whoa, damn.
Yeah.
We can't even let a silly Billy be a silly Billy without it turning into like, hey, he might die. And they're not saying it as a threat. They're saying legitimately, you gotta relax. Cause that's
the interesting thing about it, right? Is that it's like, so that video is kind of complicated because he was like invading people's space and whatever. You can't do that. But it's like the tone of those comments are like, don't be yourself. It's too much. You're too much. You're being too much. You know what I mean? Even like the idea of being cool is this like idea of don't show too much of anything.
Yeah, and it's not me defending the person and the silliness of it. I do think it's a silly
No, I don't think that
do,
at all.
But I also don't necessarily, it's not a silly I would do because I would fear exactly what you're talking about of like invasion of space and privacy, and just the idea of standing that close to men in general is not how I would want to be busted wide open. That said, it is crazy that it can't just be silly. Like we don't even have the room in us to be like, well, that's just silly. Because the threat of sexuality from a man requires us to fucking like flex and hulk and defy everything silly inside of this.
And that's the tragedy. I think that also speaks to the stakes of what it is to be a black man. It feels so high stakes sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the burden that I feel like and that's one thing that is truly racial. And I don't think it's like classist, or I think it cuts through everything through to this thing at your core where you're like, you can be silly in certain places and venues, but overall the stakes to my behavior are very high. I don't feel like when I talk to white peers and things like that, they don't seem to speak to the idea that they could lose it all as much, or that they have to be careful.
Right.
As much as it feels like when I talk just like an average black man.
You made the point before we were recording that you think it's beating our ass the most.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that too. Yeah, definitely.
That like legitimately of homophobia is beating the fuck out of black men more than any other race and community.
Bro, like it's all that shit. We can't eat hot dogs. Even the pause shit is like, but like for real, bro. But like for real, that's crazy. That's crazy because of some and it's like, okay, ha ha ha, it is a joke, but then it's like, but living under that, even as a joke, is a burden that it feels heavy to carry to me.
Bro, sometimes I just don't feel like being in a bit. And if I want a hot dog on a day when I don't feel like being in a bit, then I am in prison because I either don't get what I want or I get what I want, and now I'm being forced to play inside of a game that I never wanted to play in the first place. I just wanted a fucking hot dog.
Right. And to that point, it's like the same as like the caught lacking shit, where it's like, fuck, well, where do you go to? Because like the homophobia and that shit, I think, is instilled in men and women. So then it becomes like, if I can't pull that guard down in front of my partner, where it just feels like it's stunting the amount of life you're able to experience.
Yeah, no, truly.
And that's kind of heartbreaking to me.
I remember when I was playing basketball, I like putting my hands on my hips. That's a good place for me, is hands on my hips. And I realized at some point that turning your hands backwards also actually feels pretty good with your hands on your hips. And
because I know what you're going to say is so funny, and I'm going to laugh. So before I laugh in your face, whatever this story is, I'm sorry that happened to you, because that's not fair. You were just trying to be comfortable because I saw everything lighting up.
Wait a minute. No. This isn't a trauma story. You don't get to do that to me. I'm saying that I discovered that is a good feeling privately. And there was something in me that knew well enough that I can never be that guy. Right. It is not possible for me to be at my most comfortable physically while I'm playing a sport that I played as hard as I possibly could at the time that I was playing it, because of a fear that somebody will call me something I'm not even, that afraid of in theory, but associated with me, I think, is somehow this life-destroying idea.
Brother, and that shit is like, because I was thinking when you said that, I was thinking about when you put your palms on your lower back.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing it right now.
It feels so nice.
I'm only doing it because my girl's not here. Like,
it feels nice.
It feels great. But how do you feel like that repression, that constant guard, is not leaked out into other areas, where it becomes like, if the thing, if you are limited in expression to only a few things, those few things, I think there's a possibility that they can become very, very, they could almost be too much. Like you can't spread it all out. If you people feel like they can only express themselves fully wherever, then it's like, damn, that just is like full on repression, and that sucks. Like that's a tough line to have to toe.
I think about
day
all
in,
the
day out.
things that keep happening with Shannon Sharpe in terms of his physical appearance and how often that is equated to some sort of like gayness, queerness. His clothes in particular are always getting, you're seeing pictures of him in the littlest outfits that ever could be for this big, giant, hulking man. No socks often. They're capris more often than not. It always looks insane, the outfits that he posts. And some of that is, to me, that leaking out of like, oh, this is just a dude who wants to be able to explore different options for how he should look, but he can't because he's afraid of the possibility of that coming off as anything other than like hyper masculine. And so instead he's like, all I wear is suits and athleisure wear. And then nobody will ever suspect me of being anything but a man, and it don't look good. You look odd, bro. They don't build it for you that way.
You're too big.
You're too damn big. You need some big flowy Steve Harvey pants, but you can't get there because you're too worried.
What you need is a dress.
Yeah.
Problem with that is that he would look funny in a dress. That's just the comedian of me. That's just the comedian in me.
He would look funny because he'd be so self-conscious in that dress. There's no way he wouldn't be pulling on it and trying to make sure his big hulking titty is put away. It'd
Right.
just be too much.
What you need to do is like, that's why I think the black men who can do it, strong. Busta Rhymes
Strongest.
wore a dress, and he's Jamaican.
Who did?
Busta Rhymes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Rodman,
They're all-
but he was kind of an outlier in that way.
And there are also a lot of private theories about him as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know
of
that.
the same nature. Yeah, that he
Ah,
Busta Rhymes is very vocally homophobic in a way that is either Jamaican or a dude hiding a deep dark secret.
man. I was really excited about this conversation. Now it just got me kind of bummed out.
Yeah, I think it's hard.
I think it's good that we can have conversations like this and that it can go out to some people. I think that even within this conversation, in my head, I'm like, I think some people in here is be like, "You bitch."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is so hard to, number one, allow people the space to recognize themselves enough that they can identify sexuality and identity and separate them from the shit that we were trained to believe. But I think even more complicated is recognizing, even as you have made some of those efforts towards undoing that bad thinking, you ain't all the way there yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? That like I am very proudly anti all of the homophobia that I think I was in many ways trained to believe as normal and see as okay. And even in that, I am not fully finished cooking as a true like advocate ally in the most pure sense of the word.
Truly, truly. I mean, at the end of the day, y'all, we just want to put our hands on our hips.
We all just want to put our hands on our
Can we
hips
just
and-
start there?
And only a few of us are brave enough to actually do it. And that's on
And
us.
they can dunk.
Their name is Dennis Rodman, and they. Guys, that's how I learned it, because Dennis used to do it. I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm gonna try it. Let me see," and it was phenomenal.
It just eases the pressure.
Yeah, it's just nice, man. It puts your wrists in a different position than they're normal, so it gives you a nice stretch there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a big back, so it's stretching out.
But you're only doing that because we can't see your hands and your hips.
Oh yeah, no, I would not lower this laptop screen for $1 million.
Well, we could talk hands on the hips all day, but the truth is, we did it. I think we covered everything. All was said that needed to be said on this subject. And if you have issues with any of our deep-rooted homophobia, I don't know, beat me up. What are you going to do?
Also, if you can't tell, so do we.
I don't like this.
Yeah. I don't want to be this way.
You want to tell the people where they can find you?
Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram, patreon.com/David Gborie. To purchase my special Birth of a Nation with the G, it's very funny. Everybody's raving about it. Major Hollywood press is making articles now. They've all seen it. They can't get off my jock. And then, here's one. October 24th to 27th. Bay Area. I am coming to Rooster T. Feathers at Sunnyvale, California, just a stone's throw from San Jose and down the street from San Francisco. If you're out in the Bay, come fuck with me, please. They emailed me. I have not sold any tickets. They're talking about clipping a day. I would love it if you would come. My career is not going great. You ever had that? They ever try to clip a day?
Buddy, have I not ever had that?
That's the worst.
If they don't take a day away from me, I don't think I'm traveling. As always, you can follow me at Langston Kerman on all social media platforms, and you can watch my special. It's called Bad Poetry. It's on Netflix. You can watch English Teacher. It's on FX. And you can come see us on tour. David and I are going on tour, the Start the Steal 2024 tour. We're hitting a bunch of great cities because motherfucker, we need y'all there. And we ain't cutting it short. There's only one day of us.
No.
They can't cut a day.
They better not.
If they cut a day, we bad.
Yeah.
But we would love to see you there at all of our dates, and we're excited. It's going to be a really fun tour. We've started booking a lot of great fucking guests that are going to be cool and surprising and really hilarious. So please come out, buy your tickets. We have a Linktree at My Mama Told Me Pod, and you'll figure it out. You know how to find us. And more importantly, if you want to send us your own drops, your own conspiracy theories, if you want to tell us some bullshit, I don't know what you'd be talking about, send it all to mymamapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, buy merch, hit the Linktree. Don't hit your family. Bye, bitch.
White wine, white woman, and hate crimes.
My Mama Told Me is a production of Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network and iHeart Podcasts.
Created and hosted by Langston Kerman.
Co-hosted by David Gborie.
Executive produced by Will Ferrell, Hansani, and Olivia Aguilar.
Co-produced by Bay Wang.
Edited and engineered by Justin Conlon.
Music by Nick Chambers.
Artwork by Dogon Krieger.
You can now watch episodes of My Mama Told Me on YouTube. Follow at My Mama Told Me and subscribe to our channel.